Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. AITA for not accepting my sister's relationship with my ex despite her having cancer as a teenager. When I was 4 and she was 3, my 25 female father married my step 23 sister's female mother. We've been living together for the most of our lives and consider ourselves a family. She and I were inseparably close. She was 14 when she was diagnosed with cancer and was hospitalized for almost 2 years. She has subsequently recovered completely. My parents were reasonably overprotective around that time. They also had a lot of questions for me. I gave up my extracurricular activities so I could acquire a job. The money went towards her medical expenditures and transport her to appointments. I didn't go to dances, and any pleasant things I did had to involve her. I did practically all of this voluntarily, with the exception of having to abandon my high school volleyball team, for which I had a little tantrum but was quickly reprimanded. And, given the circumstances, I believe experiencing one emotional breakdown was very normal. Anyway, when I'm a junior in college, I meet my ex, whom we'll name Ben. We fell in love, blah blah blah, etc. When we graduated, he and I moved in together, so we've been living together for roughly 3 years. We were serious until I went into my bedroom in July and caught in my sister. I cut it off, tears were shed, he moved out, and so forth. My sister apologized at first, but then she backtracked. I thought she was giving me space, but she phoned last week and asked if we could meet up. She said that she and Ben were in love and were just informing me as a courtesy before they began uploading images online. Disgusted, I left her alone in the restaurant and did not pay my half of the bill. She afterwards Venmo'd me, requesting the money. She informed my parents, who summoned me to their home and expressed their displeasure with me for not supporting my sister's connection with Ben. They said that since she had cancer as a youngster, she'd never acquired good social manners and had difficulty meeting new people. I don't buy that, in part because I've seen her socialize just fine and because we spent a significant amount of the time she was unwell together. By that reasoning, I should have poor social skills as well. They then warned me that if I didn't accept my sister and Ben's relationship, they could have to stop communicating with me. I told them that I am also their daughter and that they should understand my point of view. But they insist that this is all about me being envious of her. I'll state unequivocally that I'm not envious of her. I'm not disappointed that Ben chose her over me. I'm saddened by the breakup and feel betrayed, but the Lord knows I don't want to be with a cheater. What irritates me is that my sister picked Ben over me. That she slept with Ben despite the fact that he and I were in a long-term, committed relationship, and that she continues to remain with him despite how much it hurts me. No one in my immediate family is talking to me anymore, and I'm receiving texts from aunts, uncles, and cousins calling me a jerk and a selfish p***tch. Edit. Thank you very much for your remarks, everyone. This has garnered a lot more attention than I anticipated, and I'm having difficulties keeping up. So if I don't say thank you, thank you. I've been given a lot to think about. To be honest, although I felt bitter or sad about my adolescence, I've always believed that I did the right thing for my sister and my family. And it wasn't all bad. I was extremely close to my sister, and we tried to have as much fun as we could. But, as several of you pointed out, I didn't see it as a surrender of my parents' obligations, or that they were wronging me. I certainly have a lot on my mind. Thank you once again for helping me feel less insane about everything. Update. There are moments when you can only chuckle. I just got off the phone with my cousin, who noticed this article and offered to clarify a few things. I asked him why he was on Reddit instead of school, and he questioned why I was on Reddit instead of work, to which I replied, touche. He informed me that following my meeting with my mother, she went to his place and spoke with my aunt. And here's how it works. My sister is not only in a relationship with Ben, but she is also 4 months pregnant. That indicates she and Ben were for a longer period of time than I had anticipated. My parents are apparently so insistent that I forgive her since I'm already destroying their first grandchild's experience. That's right, I'm not as significant as my stepmom sharing pregnancy pictures on Facebook. This is where we are. Anyway, I phoned in ill for the remainder of the day and plan to consume a lot of beer. A lot of booze, for example. And then I start wondering what the heck I'm going to do. Update 2. I was requested to provide an update, so here I am. Before I update, I'd want to clarify 2 points. I didn't grow up in a bad neighborhood. When my sister was diagnosed, the favoritism began. I moved out shortly after and have been quite self-sufficient ever since. I'm not claiming my parents treated me well during those years, but I wasn't Cinderella. I did not pass out from intoxication. I drank 2 spritzers of white wine. But I appreciate everyone's concern. Anyway, here's the latest. I contacted my sister and asked her to meet me in a park, no bill involved. When I inquired whether she was pregnant, she told me the truth. She expressed a desire for us to remain in one another's life, as well as for me to be in her baby's. A Redditor, I'm sorry I forgot who, said that she may ask me to be the godmother, and that person was accurate. But, as many of you pointed out, if I didn't cut her off, I'd end myself working at her bank and daycare. So I informed her I couldn't be in her life any longer. And I left her bawling on a park bench, feeling like the worst person on the planet. I contacted my parents, telling them how deceived I felt and that I would no longer communicate with them. To her credit, my stepmother apologized. She added that she never expected my sister to survive long enough to have children and that she let her emotions about it hit the best of her. Understandable. My father said nothing, which was honestly the worst part of the whole incident. For the first time since the breakup, Ben attempted texting me through a burner account, but I banned him without reading anything. I did not go nuclear and publish the tale on Facebook, as others urged, but instead wrote an email to extended family members I care about. I described the circumstances and how I would be separating from my family. Some have turned it into an us versus them scenario, and although I appreciate the support, feeling like I'm fighting a brave war just makes me fatigued. So I haven't spoken to many people in my family. I'm lonely and depressed, but I believe I made the correct choice. Anyway, it's hardly the most fascinating update in the world, but at least everyone knows I'm not dead. I'm grateful for the support I have received. It has helped me smile at a difficult period. And hey, if anybody in the greater Boston area needs an additional Thanksgiving guest, let me know. Story 2. Ada for telling my nephew the truth and not giving my brother a chance. My nephew, Jamie, 17 male, is in hot water with his father, my brother, and stepmother because he locked himself in his room and left his stepsisters, 13-9, alone, despite the fact that he was meant to be watching them. He's presently not allowed to use his vehicle, unless his sisters want to go someplace, hang out with friends, and my brother has even taken some of his belongings, clothes/jewelry handcrafted by his mother. Background information: James' mother has been designing garments and making jewelry since she was a youngster. It wasn't her work, but it was a pastime, and she produced some really amazing items. James stole the items after she died and even wears the jewelry. He wears some clothing, but the most of them are for women/girls, and he's much too tall for them, When I questioned my brother why he took such things, he replied his wife told him it would help him grasp consequences better or something. He further said that he will return the items after his penalty was over. Anyway, my brother informed me that his wife gave most of the items away to her friends and relatives. The females even totally damaged several items. I was really taken aback. James enjoys his mother's handiwork, but all he has currently are 2 rings and a necklace. Almost a decade's worth of stuff gone in a month. I was astounded and saddened. My brother essentially phoned me because James has been requesting the items and he is at a loss for what to do. I told him to off and quickly contacted James to let him know what had transpired. He was irritated yet grateful. My brother arrived at my residence around 2 hours later. He was in tears and asked me why I had done that. He claims I didn't even warn him, and he is now concerned that he won't be able to repair his friendship with James. He asked for my assistance in making things right, and I didn't even give him an opportunity to do so. I informed him that James' refusal to speak to him was his fault, but he insisted that wasn't the point. He believes that I should have assisted him in retrieving the items. He called me AH and expressed his wish that I was pleased now. I don't believe I'm the AH because if it were my belongings, I'd be curious. James even expressed gratitude, and, once again, my brother really deserves it. But I understand his argument, and his wife, our parents, believe I'm incorrect as well. Edit: my brother and his wife are certainly AH for the whole situation. No one can deny that law. I'm wondering whether I'm the AH for informing my nephew what occurred without first giving my brother an opportunity to explain/resolve the situation.